Hello people of the web, welcome back if you're a regular to the channel, and if you're new I should introduce myself. I'm ZactheDragon and I make Minecraft videos. Now today's video is going to be something new and different. We're going to have a look at the new snapshot released earlier today, which has been called 19W13A. A very snappy name if you ask me. And this is the first snapshot released for 1.15. There is only a few things in this release, but they're mostly revolving around a brand new mob that's been introduced. Ooh, perfectly on time. The bee. Let's have a look. These Minecraft bees, much like regular bees, love flowers. And when they find one, they'll dance up and down it and slowly get covered in pollen. That pollen is of course then taken back to the beehive, which we'll cover in a minute, and used to turn pollen into honey. There we go. Now he's covered in pollen. So he's got to fly around and find somewhere to deposit the pollen. Now bees will follow you much like a chicken follows you when you're holding wheat if you have a flower. Including wither roses, which I would have thought as being that appealing. However, they have no interest in flowers that are too tall. I don't know whether that's going to be a permanent feature or whether it's something they'll patch later. They will, however, take pollen from too tall flowers. I generated this world specifically to look at the bees, and this area was the first one I came upon where there are already beehives. Now, these will only spawn on trees in the sunflower plains biomes, the plains biomes, and flower forests. Now, every tree has a chance to grow with one, but I think it's only about a 10% chance. And yes, that also includes trees that are grown by players. So if I grow these trees, we might get one that grows with a beehive on it. I finally made a tree and it came with a beehive. I did have quite a lot of attempts. All of these were my failed attempts. But we got one, and it came with 3 bees I think popped out when I spawned it in. Now the beehive will slowly fill up with honey, although I haven't got time to wait for these bees because they're very slow. So what we're going to do is use a debug stick to cheat. And there we go. That's a full beehive. Once you have your full beehive, you can then use shears to get honeycombs or an empty bottle, and you'll get a honey bottle, which is very useful. Now, I'm in creative mode, which means that these bees don't mind. If you're in a survival mode, that changes slightly. Now, if I put myself into survival mode, what should happen is that if I harvest the honey, then there's a potential chance for the bees that are in range to get very angry with me and start attacking. However, if I put a campfire, I think within 3 blocks, but I'm going to put it straight underneath, and then harvest the honey, we should be fine. Bees are a passive mob until attacked. Now, if you anger one of them by breaking their nest, then the whole swarm should attack you. So in theory, if I do this, they all get angry and they start chasing me down. Now the ones that sting me lose their stingers and unfortunately won't last. They'll eventually die off. So you see they turn over and they try and launch their stingers at me. Now I'm going to put myself back into creative before I die and see if we can spot any of these bees that have lost their tails. Nope, you still got your tail. You haven't. So he will eventually die, which is pretty sad. Now the tool that you'll want if you want to pick up a beehive is an axe. However, if you use a regular axe, it just breaks. What you need is Silk Touch. And then you can plant your hive elsewhere. Just of course be careful not to anger the bees in doing so. Now if you've got your honeycombs that you collected earlier, what you can do is use a crafting table to make a beehive rather than a bee nest. I'm curious though whether we can mix planks. We can actually do mixed planks. So of course this we can place and bees will slowly pollinate and fill this up with honey, same as they do with the bee nests. This is what a beehive looks like when it's full. Now they've actually added redstone functionality to it, so if I put a dispenser here and put the shears in theory, if I put a button on the side, it can harvest the honeycombs out of it. So all of this could be automated. I'm looking forward to see how people go about doing that. The other thing you can do with dispensers, rather than just getting honeycombs, is filling up glass bottles with honey. Again, will be interesting to see what people do with that. Now, as an interesting side note, both beehives and bee nests can't be moved by pistons, which means potentially you can have quite an issue if you have a tree farm built in the plains biome, sunflower plains, or a flower forest, because if these spawn on trees and can't be moved by pistons, you have an immovable object suddenly in your tree farm. So be careful of that. I've just been reading the notes that Mojang released with the snapshot, and apparently bees will share locations of flowers, which does worry me slightly because any kind of gossip between mobs reminds me of the issues we had with 1.14, where all of the villagers were speaking to each other regularly and causing lag. I hope that's not going to be an issue with 1.15. Fingers crossed. I think this snapshot release is rather exciting. Now, I don't know about everyone else, but I certainly wasn't expecting a snapshot until after Minecon. Now, I'm curious to know whether this is related to the main theme of 1.15 or whether it's just a side project for Mojang. I'd love to hear what you think about it in the comments section. What else do you think they'll add, related or completely different? Please check out the description where I will include links to the Mojang release notes and add my amendments if needed. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. And also check out my other videos. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye now.